The reliability is no longer there with the new generation Toyotas. The simplicity is no longer there. The affordability is certainly no longer there. And the resale is no longer there. They save over 80% in labor costs by moving production from Texas down to Mexico. This one here is an SR5. This is the most affordable trim, and even still, it is over 43 grand. The same Tacoma was easily $25,000 to $28,000 just a few years ago. People are just not buying this because they're smart, right? They pop the hood, they're extremely underwhelmed. The quality is not there. They produce it out of Mexico, send it up, and hike up the price tag. No thank you. So they've offered up so many of these green energy products here. They've totally castrated the Toyota Land Cruiser nameplate here. Hybridized 4-banger that costs $60,000. This is the most affordable trim package, with it being the 1958 edition. Hey YouTube, Untamed here. So Toyota as a vehicle manufacturer has developed a phenomenal reputation over the last several decades, especially within the United States. But due to a lot of their recent decisions, they've pivoted so far away from their original core values that has made the company so great. In today's video, I'm going to talk through a lot of those decisions that the company has made that's deviated from their core values, and we'll talk through what they need to do moving forward if they want to stand a chance at sustaining that phenomenal reputation. Because right now, the consumer is not impressed at all with their new generation products coming out. They're extremely lackluster. They don't offer that quality, they don't offer reliability, and they definitely don't offer that affordability that we've gotten used to with this brand. So I'm going to talk through it all in today's video, so stick with me. So let me start with a few facts up front. Over the last 3 months, we have seen a combined average drop in sales across the entire brand within the US of 21.4%. 21.4% drop in sales over the last 3 months. To be fair, a lot of auto manufacturers are struggling right now. It's not just Toyota, but this is uncharted territory for Toyota. They're now in a position where dealerships across the US are turning away allocations of their vehicles. That is unprecedented. So seeing them do that, and seeing them with so many brand new models, so many units just sitting collecting dust on their lots, where they're slashing prices $6,000 on the new Tacoma here, and they're slashing prices up to $12,000 on the new Tundra there, and it's still not selling. People no longer have that same level of peace of mind in buying these products. And I don't blame people one bit. We're going to look at this Tacoma TRD Off-Road, has a price tag of just under $53,000. This 2024 Tacoma TRD Off-Road, there are so many 2024 models just sitting collecting dust on every dealership lot right now. This is very standard across the US, right? But having to pay over $50,000 for a TRD Off-Road, not even a hybridized version of it, that is just unreal to me. You know, most simply put, Toyota has clearly priced out their target demographic. Normally their target demographic is the blue-collar working class, right? They buy a Toyota Tacoma or a Toyota Tundra, you know, to have that peace of mind of reliability, simplicity, and affordability. And they no longer have that. When they have to spend over $52,000 for a mid-sized pickup truck, that's pretty sickening, right? They want to go out and buy an SR5 and spend $25,000. But no, nowadays you're spending $40,000 to $45,000 for that same SR5, and it's built out of Mexico. How about that? So right now, Toyota's really kicking themselves because they have gone all in on two different things. One, outsourcing production to cheaper labor countries like Mexico for the Tacoma here, and then hiking up the price 20 to 25% more for the US sales, which makes zero sense. They save over 80% in labor costs by moving production from Texas down to Mexico. They save 80% or more on doing that. But now we still have to pay 20 to 25% more. Makes zero sense to me. In addition to that, Toyota has really caught themselves in a bad position when it comes to chasing green credits, right? They have lessened the displacement size of so many of their platforms. Now we have a 2.4 liter 4-cylinder, turbocharged 4-cylinder in this Tacoma here, and a 3.5 liter twin turbo V6 in the Tundra over there. No longer do we have a trusty, naturally aspirated V6 in the Tacoma, and we no longer have that 5.7 liter V8 that was bulletproof in the Tundra over there. Instead, we have these overcomplicated platforms, these over-complex powertrains that have just left people feeling a little underwhelmed, right? Not to mention, you can't pop the hood and actually work on it. And like I mentioned before, who's the target audience? Blue-collar working class. They like being able to pop the hood and work on their vehicle with good peace of mind, and you just cannot do that when there's turbo strapped to it and a hybridized battery pack strapped underneath it. You just can't do it. And it's a shame to see Toyota really lean into the green credits, right? By producing these smaller displacement motors, strapping battery packs to it, they're getting government subsidies or government handouts, or at least they have been up until this point. Obviously, with the change of administration here, stuff like this, these handouts for green and carbon credits, they're going to go out the window, and rightfully so, because that will force some vehicle manufacturer to get back to their roots and produce vehicles that the consumer actually wants, and not just chase those green credits where the government is just handing them free money every single year. And you can tell that the executive types for Toyota North America were very hopeful that a Democrat would win the presidential election, because that would justify them going all in on these green credits. It would justify them moving production to Mexico. But now, well, President Trump has already alluded to it a number of times, and he likely will add a huge, we're talking 100% tariff increase on all vehicles that are produced in Mexico for the US market. What does that mean? A lot of you are going to be quick to say, well, that's just mean they're going to hike up the price of the Tacoma even more. Wrong. They can't. Look behind me over there. They can't even sell them right now at the price tags that they want. They're astronomical price tags. It doesn't just work like that. They can't just hike it up even more because it costs Toyota more. They won't sell. That'd be company suicide, and Toyota's not dumb. They're not that dumb. So I definitely encourage you to do some research, some genuine research on what goes into the extraction, production, and disposal of these hybridized battery packs. The lithium-ion battery packs, what goes into actually producing them, right? Because a lot of people will be just quick to hide underneath the facade of going green, carbon neutral, right? It's easy to kind of hide behind that party line. But if you actually do some genuine research, looking at scholarly, peer-reviewed articles, not your favorite mainstream media, but actual research, I think you're going to be pretty disgusted at how damaging and how adverse the impacts are of actually producing stuff like this. So don't be so quick to jump on the whole green bandwagon without doing some genuine research. Now, historically speaking, the Toyota Tacoma here has been a huge cash cow for Toyota, where they generally sell anywhere from 235,000 to 255,000 units per year within the US. Here in 2024, they've only sold 146,000 units thus far. And well, there's only one more month left in the year, so they might be lucky to break 170,000 units sold, but even then I think they'd be lucky to do so. People are just not buying this because they're smart, right? They pop the hood, they're extremely underwhelmed, the quality is not there, they produce it out of Mexico, send it up and hike up the price tag? No thank you. Just for context, the Tacoma sales have generally accounted for about 10 to 12% of all vehicles sold within the US each year. They sell about 2.3 million units typically between the last few years anyway, so about 10%. And among the dozens of Toyota Tacomas at this particular dealership, this one here is an SR5. This is the most affordable trim, and even still, it is over 43 grand. Over 43,000 for this Tacoma SR5 4x4 double cab. This same Tacoma was easily $25,000 to $28,000 just a few years ago. Pretty pathetic. You know, I say great reset on purpose on this video because Toyota is really in a position where they can make a trajectory change, right? So they've offered up so many of these green energy products here. They've totally castrated the Toyota Land Cruiser nameplate here with this another four-banger. So we've got a hybridized four-banger that costs $60,000. This is the most affordable trim package, with it being the 1958 edition. So bare bones, cloth interior, still made out of Japan, so it does get a couple brownie points for that, and I'll make that clear. But the fact that it costs $60,000, they got rid of the 5.7 liter V8 and have that tiny little 2.4 liter four-cylinder underneath the hood is extremely disappointing. And well, there's a reason why you see them stacking up on lots with huge discounts as well. We got a couple here. There's a white one just down there. And then we have vehicles like this. The Toyota Crown is also a pretty legendary nameplate for Toyota at large, but you know, offering it here within the US, it kind of has a little bit of an identity crisis to it, right? Especially at a price tag of over $50,000 for this particular Nightshade edition of it. It's just hard to justify, and that's why we see them just beginning to collect dust at dealerships too. Now, call me a proud American all you want, but I did take pride in knowing that my Toyota Tundra that I had before was built out of San Antonio, Texas. I like knowing that the vehicles that are produced for the US market are actually built within the US by fellow Americans. I take pride in that. So take that for whatever you want. But the idea that a lot of people think that it doesn't matter where a vehicle is produced, that couldn't be so further from the truth. I mean, look at a vehicle that's produced out of Japan. You know, go look at that Land Cruiser over there. You're likely not going to find too many panel gaps within that thing. Not going to find too many rattles on the interior. It's going to be produced with dang near perfection, I would argue, coming out of Japan. You know, and out of Mexico, we're finding a lot of panel gaps on that new Tacoma there, a lot of issues, a lot of quality control issues, because it does matter where it's built. And when you're paying individuals $2.70 per hour out of Mexico, well, you can't blame them for not taking tremendous pride in their work, right? You can't blame them for that. So I do believe that where a vehicle is built truly matters. I mean, think of it this way. Would you be okay if your Toyota Tundra or your Toyota Tacoma was built in China? The answer is no. You know, the more and more I go to Toyota dealerships, the more I see this. A lot of just smaller, compact SUVs beginning to collect dust on their lots, right? And I think this is the ideal world that Toyota really envisioned, right? Moving forward within the US. But this is not what the consumer wants, right? It is crazy to see so many brand new Toyota Land Cruisers just sitting on lots with huge discounts and still not selling, right? I see these posted every day with $4,000 to $5,000 off, and people still are just not interested. At that price tag of $58,000, I can't say I blame them. Now, if you're looking for a very underwhelming driving experience, be sure to check out the new Toyota Tundra here. I've owned a 2023 Tundra TRD Pro sporting the iForce Max, and I was just pretty disappointed with just how synthetic the overall driving experience was. Between that, the terrible turn radius, the plasticky chintzy interior, and the astronomical price tag that I paid, it all just left me feeling pretty awful about the purchase overall, and the overall driving experience, pretty lackluster. And this right here, this is a limited example with a price tag of just under $66,000. This doesn't even sport the hybridized iForce Max either. If it did, it would bring the price tag easily over 70 grand, which is absolutely insane. Now, obviously, I generally talk about Toyota pickup trucks and SUVs, but I would still argue the same goes for their sports car segments, right? This has been extremely lackluster too and pretty disappointing. I was personally excited about the GR Corolla. I almost even purchased a Circuit Edition one, but the more I read into it, the more I saw people having problems with it, kind of steered me away from it. There's a lot of engine failures. There's a number of reported engine fires that took place under normal driving conditions, and there's also a number of reports from Toyota voiding warranties on those vehicles when they exceed a certain miles per hour. 85 miles per hour was mostly reported, but another report was over 100 miles per hour. So you can't even drive your hot hatch fast without voiding your warranty, which is pretty pathetic. And don't even get me started on the BMW Supra. And obviously the intent behind adding tariffs to auto manufacturers building vehicles in Mexico for the US market would be to get jobs back into America, bring back the production into America for Americans. I mean, after all, these vehicles are built for the US market, so why not be built in the US? So that is the intent. Obviously, a lot of people will make that argument of it adding to the cost of the vehicle, and we as a consumer will hurt for it. I disagree, right? You're seeing this for a reason here. People don't even want them at the prices that they want currently because they're overinflated. So they can't spike them up anymore without totally shooting themselves in the foot. And honestly, I'm not shocked that so many people are actually jumping over to Nissan now. Like this Nissan Frontier Pro 4X behind me, priced right around $42,000, $43,000, much more affordable. Not to mention, underneath the hood, you get a trusty 3.8 liter naturally aspirated V6. Underneath the hood of the Nissan Titan over there is a 5.6 liter naturally aspirated V8. People just want simplicity because it works. Not to mention, it looks pretty sleek. Actually digging these wheels. Had a little bit of a refresh here in 2025. I don't know. You tell me what you think of this Frontier here. So although it pains me to say it, the reliability is no longer there with the new generation Toyotas. The simplicity is no longer there. The affordability is certainly no longer there. And the resale is no longer there. If you try to go sell your 2022 and up Toyota Tundra, you're gonna lose a ton on that residual value. Same goes for the Tacoma here. Dealerships are turning away allocations for the new ones. Why would they pay you top dollar for your used one, right? So resale value out the window. These are all things that we have always bought our Toyotas for. And well, that's no longer there. So I do firmly believe that we are witnessing the great reset of Toyota. And I say great with air quotes because Toyota can go one of two directions here. They can continue down this path where they're trying to appease shareholders more than a consumer, and they're trying to chase green credits and just line their pocketbooks with government handouts, or they can actually change trajectory a little bit and lean back toward their core values, right? Lean back to reliability, simplicity, and affordability. Lean into that and give the consumer what they've always wanted and what they've always asked for. So we are witnessing that right now. What are they gonna do? If they continue down their current trajectory, they're gonna continue to see this. Lines of unsold Toyota Tacomas and Tundras that people just don't want. Right? This has left people feeling extremely underwhelmed and disappointed in the product at large. So what do you think is going to happen? What do you think Toyota needs to do? Obviously, Mr. Sato replacing Mr. Toyota as a CEO played a role in the current trajectory of the brand. But I would argue that there needs to be a little bit of a clearing of the house when it comes to the North American market, North American executive leadership team, right? We need to clear that out a little bit, do a little bit of a factory reset if they want to find themselves on better ground within the US market here. Because clearly, as of late, last couple of years, the senior executive leaders within Toyota North America have been forcing their personal political agendas within the brand here within the US market, even running contrary to what the Japanese culture and core values have been. So that has been abundantly clear. They're even kind of backpedaling on a few things, right, as of late. So that's refreshing to see, but I think we need to kind of clear them out, you know, clear out some of their PR, public relations representatives, get them out of there, because a lot of them are forcing their personal political values too on the brand too. That's really just hindering things, right? All right, guys, I'll wrap up the video there. As always, I sincerely appreciate you taking the time to tune into these videos. If you appreciate them at all, please let me know in the comment section below. If not, just let me know what your thoughts are on Toyota. What do you think we're going to see in the coming year or two from the brand at large? I enjoy digging into this stuff. I have a PhD in industrial and organizational psychology. It truly is my passion, and that's why I like sharing it with you guys. So hopefully some of you can really appreciate that. If you haven't already, I respectfully request that you consider liking and subscribing. Your support means a ton, and it certainly doesn't go unnoticed. Until next time.